welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today we're going to be talking about the book Angelfall by Susan E. Okay guys, this book completely surprised me. Now, as some of you know, this book has been hyped. I mean, a ton of people have read it lately. It's been going around. Everyone's like, this book is flawless. It's so good. And I got it, I think, back in June, probably about 2 months ago, and I didn't really have a need to read it. And then I finished a contemporary. I'm like, I need some action, and I picked this up, and oh my god, I was completely blown away. This book, it deserves all of its hype. It is like nothing I've ever read before. It was just so good and so surprising. This is definitely the best book I've read in quite a while. Okay, now, so it's time for the basic summary. This book centers on a world that is kind of like post-apocalyptic. 6 weeks before the story starts, angels came down and basically brought hell on earth. And ever since then, this girl Penryn has been trying to survive. She lives with her mother, who is basically crazy. She says that demons are coming after her all the time, and her crippled sister Paige. Now, Penryn and her family are kind of trying to just survive, and they are trying to move to a safer house, and then they get in the middle of the street, and these angels basically attack them, because in their world, angels are just awful people. They just come and like kill everybody, and Paige is taken, and Penryn has to figure out what to do. And at the site of this like angel fight, there's this angel Raffi. I don't know how you pronounce it. I call him Raph, but I think you pronounce it Raffi. He gets his wings cut off, and Penryn saves his wings, and they kind of have to work together as a tag team. Oh my god. This book, it's like, I promise it is so much better than the summary makes it out to be. Like, I read the summary, I'm like, oh, it's okay. This is not your typical angel book. This is one of the best angel books I've read. Oh my god. It was just, it's so unique. One of the best things about this book is it doesn't really get into it until probably halfway through, but it has a lot of like philosophy to it, and I think that's really neat. It kind of explains like the way the angels work and like the different angels, and like, I mean, I went to Catholic school for 9 years, so I had to study like religion and the angels and stuff, and I think this kind of weaves like angels in the story. Like there's like Michael and Gabriel and Raphael, and it's just so neatly woven in there, and it's so good. So I would definitely recommend this book. Now I'm going to go on to the spoiler section, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then go read this book and then come back. Okay, spoiler time. Penryn and Raph's relationship is, I was surprised, because a lot of people say that one of the best things about this book is the romance. And their romance was really subtle, because it wasn't really even there. I mean, I was shipping them from the beginning, and they really only have, I'd say, like 2 or 3 like real moments together. There's that moment when they kiss when they're at the Airy, and then my favorite is at the end when he thinks she's dead and he risks his life just to bring her back to his people, and the evil guy is talking to him. He's just like, oh, I bet it must be killing you that she didn't know how you really feel. And I was like bawling by that point. But their relationship, it was different, because it really wasn't the main focus of the story, and I thought that it was really refreshing, because a lot of times you're reading the romance, it's just like, oh dear god, no more. But this had just the right enough, and it had you wanting more romance, because that was great. Now, the beginning, I felt like this book had different feels to it, like, as it went on. Like, the beginning of this book was kind of like a survival story. Like, Raph and Penryn are trying to survive, and they go into the woods, and then that stuff. And then they go to the camp, and they go to Obi's camp, and I feel like then it's more like a group feel to it, and I thought that was really cool, because you got to see how Penryn and Raph both kind of interacted with each other around a group. And then they go into the Airy, and then it just gets creepy. I don't know. I feel like it's just different feels to it. What I was not expecting about this book, though, was how creepy it got. There was just some moments that were, oh my god, just disgusting. Especially the first one is when Raph and Penryn are in the woods, and they see, like, I didn't even know if I read this part right, but I think there was like the family and they killed 2 of the girls and were like feasting on them. Oh my god, this book had a lot of cannibalism, and I think it's interesting to read about because it's so weird. I don't think a lot of books have it in it, but when I read about it, it's just creepy. And the other creepy thing was, I guess the angels are making these like demon children, sort of. This is the one thing I'm really interested to see what exactly is going on and how they're going to develop it in the next book, because it's especially like with Paige. All I got were there was like these scorpion things, and they were like, I don't know, they were using the scorpions to change kids into like these demonic monsters who would go and eat people. I don't know, maybe, I'm guessing that it's some kind of like, I don't know, like a weapon to try and like destroy more people, because they said it's not like Nephilim. I don't know, that was just creeping. It was creeping me out by the end there. Oh my dear God, that was just really weird. One of the best things about this book though was the character development of Penryn and Raph. They were both such like developed characters. You knew their flaws and what they would do. I thought Penryn especially, you knew that she would do anything to find her sister. Now, she did make some very stupid decisions when trying to find her sister, but I mean, I felt bad for her. Like, her sister was really the only family that she had left besides her like crazy mother, and she went and found her. Speaking of her mother, I did not think her mother was going to survive. I don't know what she's going to play in the next book, but I feel like that's going to be an interesting thing to see. Okay, so this ending. I felt like the ending played such an important part of the book. It was just like the last like 50 to 100 pages. You find out about like the weird demon things. You find out about like the angels. All the stuff goes down with Raph and like the weird demon guy. It was just so much. This book had so much action, but it didn't feel rushed. I think that was a good thing about it. And then that thing happens to Penryn, and Raph risks his life to save her. And then the ending, I liked it because it wasn't cliffhanger, but you still want to know. You know there's more to the story, and you want to see what's going to happen next. Now, my expectations for the next book, I'm not really sure. Because I think I read the summary, and I know that like Penryn and Raph aren't like together, they're off doing their own things. I want to see them interact again, especially because their last interaction, there was so much heart in it, because Raph basically poured out his soul to Penryn, but he thought she was dead. First of all, does he still think that she's dead? Oh my God, that's going to be fun to see. And then I think it's going to be interesting to find out what exactly is going on with like the demon people, like with Paige. What's going on there? What's going to happen to Penryn's mother? I just want to know what's going to happen. Now, this book comes out in November, so I have to wait, but it's not too long. I don't know. I'm just really excited to see what's going to happen next. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of this book if you've read it. I definitely think it was worth the hype. Now, something I also wanted to mention before I ended this was that I don't know if any of you guys have read The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, but I was disappointed with that book. I felt like I was expecting something different than what it was. I was expecting like this post-apocalyptic, like really creepy book, and I felt like this book, Angelfall, kind of gave me what I was wanting in The Fifth Wave, like the creepiness with like the cannibals and just such a complex, developed like apocalyptic world. I felt like this was everything that I wanted from The Fifth Wave, but I didn't get. So overall, I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. This might be one of my favorite books of this year. I don't know. It's been the best book I've read in quite a while. So let me know down below what you guys thought of it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.